Vos émissions préférées, elles sont toutes sur Radio Grand Lac.
Your English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.
Bonjour, bonjour, chers auditeurs, et bienvenue à Your English Weekly. Et meilleurs vœux pour cette année 2024. Je vous souhaite plein de bon anglais avec nous. L'émission qui te présente le meilleur de la langue, de la culture, un peu de divertissement, all in English. Je suis votre animatrice Sinead et je suis ravie d'être retour avec vous en 2024. Cette année, plein de nouveautés, donc restez à l'écoute. Notre émission est de niveau B1 aujourd'hui. Here we go. Good afternoon, lovely listeners, and welcome to Your English Weekly, the show that brings you the best of the English language, culture, and entertainment. I'm your host today, and I'm thrilled to be here with you on this beautiful, cold, snowy day. Today's episode is new with exciting content that will not only improve your listening skills, but will keep you entertained throughout the program with a language tip at the end. So please stay tuned. Now we've got it all for you on Your English Weekly on 92.1 Radio Grand Lac. So don't miss out the fun. Tune in, turn up the volume, and let's make your English learning experience unforgettable. Right, so here we are back with Tim. Hi Tim, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. Happy New Year, Sinead.
Oh, thank you. Happy New Year to you too. So Tim, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I thought we could start with a pun.
We are. We're going to start with the pun because our listeners, they don't know what a pun is. But what's your topic for today?
Oh, okay. I'm going to talk about a lady that runs tours in London.
Yeah.
She has become very successful.
Ooh.
And I read an article on her and I'm just interested to tell the listeners.
Fantastic. An article from Go English, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic. And I'm going to talk today about vaping.
Very interesting.
Yeah, from The Economist. So I found my article from The Economist. But first, let's look at puns. So listeners, do you know what a pun is? Well, what is a pun, Tim, before you give us your pun?
A pun is a joke that tries to exploit the different meanings of a word.
Okay, so for example, in French, we could say un jeu de mots. Okay, right, well, let's listen to your pun and see if I know what it is.
Okay. Sinead, did you hear the joke about the little mountain?
No.
It's hilarious.
Okay. Listeners, do you get the meaning? It's hilarious because a mountain, a small mountain is a hill. Okay, Tim, very funny, very funny. Anyway, Tim, what vocabulary do you have for us today with your guided tour?
Well, I've selected some words. They are wonderful.
Merveilleux. In French, merveilleux.
Company.
Une entreprise.
Period.
La durée.
Believe.
Croire.
Behavior.
Comportement.
Difficile.
Dur.
Hardship.
Souffrance.
Alleys.
Alleys, sort of in small roads. Small roads, alleys.
Yes, back alleys.
Okay, les ruelles.
Yes.
Les ruelles.
And finally, opting or choosing.
Opter?
Yes.
Okay. Right, Tim. So tell us about your guided tour.
Well, there's a lady called Hazel Baker, and she set up almost a very realistic tour, touring the back streets of London, which became popular over the festive time because she brings the story to life of Ebenezer Scrooge. He's a famous character from A Christmas Carol.
Okay, so Scrooge is the character that is not very nice?
That's correct. Yes. So it was written by Charles Dickens. The story.
Okay.
And she takes people around the back alleys of London, and she talks about where he used to walk around. But bearing in mind,
so she specializes in Charles Dickens' tour.
Yeah, well, at that time, at the festive time of the year,
okay.
His Christmas Carol is normally found in plays or on the screen, TV. You might find it on the TV film on Christmas Day to watch.
Okay, yeah, it's a famous film or a famous book written by Charles Dickens.
Yes.
And so why is she so successful then?
She has a successful company because...
she specializes in people?
Yeah, people. I think because she brings the tour to life, she's enthusiastic, and it's interesting what she does. Especially at that time of year, London's it's a wonderful city, so she takes them around, sees the good lights, all the Christmas lights, and then takes them down these enchanting back alleys and explains the story, the Charles Dickens story, or the Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm. And who was Charles Dickens? So we know he books the Carol.
Yeah, he was an author. Mm-hmm. From the 1840s.
That's okay. He's an author from the 1840s. Okay.
Yes. And this is a book about the plays set in hard times in those times.
In those times, yeah. Okay.
She's.
So what's her name again? Remind me her name.
She's called Hazel Green.
Hazel Green.
Sorry, Hazel Baker.
Hazel Baker. So Hazel Baker. So listeners, if you want to go to London and find a famous tour or a famous tour guide, Hazel Baker would be your lady?
Yes, she would be the lady. She runs tours now throughout the year, and is growing her company.
Okay.
I think she's trying to opt for a more sustainable tourism package as well, obviously, because it's on foot. So
yeah, it's by foot, and it gives the opportunity for people from other countries to be able to choose and to be able to visit London with a guide. Nice. Okay, good. Fantastic. So now, that was anything else that you need to tell us about your little guided tour?
I didn't explain the play, but I better explain that.
Tell us about the play.
Yes, it's nice because there's this guy, Ebenezer Scrooge, is a not very nice man, and at Christmas he's anti-Christmas. He's famous for his bar humbug or his expressions, and these three ghosts visit him from Christmas past. And so they change him over the time, and they want him to be they want you to see through community, compassion, and the possibility of change. There can be a brighter future. So it's a good story at Christmas. I find.
Christmas is finished. Did you enjoy London? Is that where you got the idea from as well?
Yes, it is. I know it's over now, so less talk of Christmas, more talk of summer.
Winter.
Winter. It's snowing today.
We should be talking about the skiing.
Yes, indeed. And what did you find?
So, I found from The Economist, because I was shocked when I fell upon this article about vapes. Do you know what vapes are?
It's a trend amongst the young, isn't it? It's like smoking, but electronic.
Yeah, it's cigarettes. Electronic smoking. Exactly. Yeah. So electronic smoking has become a very big problem amongst young people. What has happened is that the vaping has caused, of course, as you know, with smoking, there's lung problems, lung damage. Lung, for the auditors, is the poumon. So we don't know everything about vaping, but we know that it's a really new technology. and that there are always risks when we have to do with nicotine or things like that. But the experts are very worried about the age group that it has come to.
What age is that mainly?
So the age group now that we are talking about is between 11 and 15.
11, that's young.
Very, very young.
Awful. Yeah.
But the sad part of the story is that the English can't really do a lot about this because they have other problems that are more important, and the number of people who pass away or who die from this is very small. So that's the good news. But the bad news is that it's becoming very regular, and it's becoming an alternative to smoking for young people. And the problem is that they risk smoking more in later life as an adult because they are addicted to the nicotine. So the consumption of cigarettes has fallen, but the consumption of e-cigarettes has increased.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not very good. And I know that the government in England, they wrote a 1,468-page reviewing vaping last year amongst young people.
Okay.
And one of the reasons that the young people like it, do you have any ideas why they like it, other than, of course, being part of the group? But
the flavour, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. That a lot of these vapes are single usage.
Right.
They're cheap.
Cheap, are they?
Yeah, the single usage vapes are cheap. So students or young children can just pick them up, think that it's like having sweets where they have all the flavors, etc. So it's a very worrying global thing. It's not just in England. It's actually quite global.
I've seen the companies market them well, which make them more attractive.
Of course, and that's where
the change with cigarettes has helped the packaging, because now it's horrible pictures on the front.
Yeah, I know. But these young guys between 11 and 17 or 15, whatever, with 20% of them, if I remember correctly, they said 20% of the young people in 2023 were smoking. So it's globally a big problem. So anyway, do you have any solutions that we could suggest to listeners?
Well, ban it.
Of course.
Haven't they banned it elsewhere?
I think they've banned single usage vapes here in France.
Right, yes.
Single usage, which is also, of course, ecological.
Of course. I mean, it is ecological problem. I've seen they're popular at festivals. So I mean, it's hard to have a solution to ban it unless you rule it out, make it.
Yeah, but we don't have the means of banning it.
There needs to be more groups around showing the effects.
Well, anyway, if you want to learn more about that, go to The Economist and have a look at vaping, or send me a message and I will send you the article. So, do you know what our tip of the day is today, Tim?
I'd like to know.
Well, listeners, if you have a problem with comprehension listening and you need to improve your comprehension, find a little script of something, listen to it, and then you catch the idea, you go back to the beginning, you listen little by little, and you write what you hear, and you write by hand. When you're finished, you reread, and when you reread, you see the mistakes you may have made. And of course, after, you double check with your script and you see your mistakes. So there's our little tip for comprehension.
It's interesting, yes.
Yes, well, listeners, I hope you learned more about, what was her name again?
Hazel Bakers.
Yes, Hazel Bakers and vaping. You expanded your vocabulary with us. You can listen to this podcast again on YouTube. And you know that every week from 12:15 to 12:30, you will learn engaging, enriching articles with the English language with myself and Tim. So don't miss out in the fun. Tune back in next week at the same time and make it your English learning experience unforgettable. But stay tuned with us today on 92.1 FM Radio Grand Lac. At 5 o'clock, we have 1 hour, one commune with the Biole. At 6:15, we have C'est bientôt l'apéro avec Sylvain. So tonight at 7:30, alors, my favorite, le 16/9e, it's an emission or a show about films with Kevin and Guillaume. Donc, le 16/9e avec Kevin et Guillaume sur une émission sur le cinéma. Donc, restez bien sur l'écoute ici à 92.1 FM. Well, listeners, bye to you from us at you.
Your English Weekly. Your English Weekly. La chronique 100% en anglais de Radio Grand Lac avec Sinead.
Radio Grand Lac.